Yeah, PK Major. So I think so for some time now, no. Hello, Mutimenka. PK Mutimenka. Okay, okay. I think so. Send it through. Um, yeah, betcha. Obibia. Good evening everywhere. I mean, in USA, good evening. No, Europe, Niana, confuse here, can't. Anyway, so I'm say, bear 1 month in na PK. We are aware. Yeah, yeah, dedicate the whole month for Mother's Day. Na say Mother's Day no and day 31st no. So the promotion na yeah no. Yebe draw no Europe deɛ no yebe no Thursday. Na US ne Canada deɛ no it will be held on Monday. That is and it is on the 2nd, so a week's time. That is on the 9th. Ɛwɔ yɛ show yi so. Tɛbusuafo ubia wo so a wo falling into that category no. Yebe roli na ya selecte winners no nti mesrɛ mo mamo mixe that day no Europe the end be any Europe for platform no so nti wow you're interested in so you can join. In fact we'll be on joining, we'll be your kwan one who be on joining na mo a mo betimi aba ye de ene so mo mra na mo mra na mbehwe because say next week on the 9th. Yeah. Yebe running a big into be a lucky winners no emra back at them. Another thing em say yebe updating say tap ye tre ya haban you can say piki na atitwi you can ye shimu ya sraban nti say ye drew Australia your friend say Jamaica. Nti sɛ wowɔ busuani bi wɔ saa hɔnom no a na gya waka kyerɛ m na ɔmo nso assign up na kyerɛ sɛ yɛkɔ yɛn anim. Promotion ɛm sɛ last week A-class made the announcement. Ɔmo a ɔmo yɛ referral bonus no, I think ɛno nso ended 31st, so we are looking forward to see if yɛbɛtumi asa de aba anaasɛ biribi a, but then we ɛno ayɛnde, so ma mo hold yɛ sɛ last week yɛkaeɛ na ebi a yɛntoa so. The next thing I'm say a pipeline we say this month Father's Day, Father's month. In fact, Father's Day fall within this month. So we are trying to see say ye papa no one so ye ntwa omo nya. Nti ye betima celebrate omo in a grand style. Nti not just a PK the no say in case a question be or bibi wo ho no ma wo idea about ana me fan kan ho ana ja wo de atodwa na yakoye ni. But Mr. Mo abusuafo platform we ya create just to educate your customers nti yɛsrɛ mo ba bia na momfa nkurɔfoɔ mmra na ɔmo nso participate you know knowledge sharing na yɛyɛ na ha no ɛbɛboa ma obi biara a getting informed wowɔ issues so with wɔ app no nso a mesrɛ mo after your speaker no akasa awie no you wait and then you put it there. Your Uncle Jimmy, I will take it that session or Babuana problem be or be so yeah. So sometimes it means so the bonus will be firm na ya chicha inti. Nadia war no PK. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I'm so happy to join the community to really present on this important really matter. It's something that really affects us. That's really talking about stress and how we can really, what we need to do to be able to, transform our well-being. I did have some slides before we get on. Do we want to introduce them? Yeah.
Hi, good. How are you?
All right, thank you so much. Okay, let me see if I can share some of the background information I did have. Okay, let's see. I can do that. All right. Can you see my screen? Okay. Yes, that's what I was trying to figure out. Give me one
Sorry,
second.
Kojo Frimpong is around.
Are you? Okay, awesome.
Yes, sir. I'm very good. Yes. We're also happy to be part of this interesting and wonderful presentation we are going to have today.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay. All right. That should be able to let me through that. All right. So as I mentioned earlier, holistic, we're talking about holistic wellness and how to release stress to really transform our well-being. And to start us off, I think, this is really a topic in terms of stress that we want to first also be able to, welcome you all as being able to relax and be present. We also recognize this is a space, for reflection and really learning more about holistic wellness in terms of releasing stress and what we need to do to be healthier. So what I would do, I would invite ourselves to stay grounded. This is something I like to do because I know we've been, probably traveling from different places to come to attend this webinar, but also just being present. So I would invite you to take at least a deep breath. And let's do that together. I'm going to count on a count of, from 3 to 1. And then we'll take, you breathe in through your nose and then breathe through your mouth. So on a count of 3, let's do Breathe in. 3, 2, 1, and then breathe out. So the affirmation for that breath or exhaling out whatever we don't need in this current time is to, be present and be here, and also recognize that this is taking a first step to managing stress and transform, your well-being. So in case you're wondering who is this lady trying to put us through this breathing exercise, I am Damalie Akuamoah, as introduced by PK, the awesome host, as well as there's an awesome gentleman in the background who's our producer that, has been, working with us to make sure this happens. So I am a certified health and wellness coach, and I really focus on holistic wellness using culturally affirming practices. These are some of things that could seem like common sense, but we normally forget about. But I'm also a speaker, and I'm also an executive contributor and founder of Feel Blissful Wellness. My background is mainly in clinical research, public health, and psychology. And my mission in terms of my work, again, is to provide a culturally affirming holistic wellness coaching to teams, and primarily, women of African descent who are navigating stress and burnout. I'm not excluding for this community that I'm only doing, catering to women, but I'm doing it holistically again, because, as women or men or family, it's really important for us to be healthy. So I'm currently located in New Jersey. I am a mother and a wife. I'm a wife and a mother of 2 little humans. And I do strongly believe that when a woman is well, she really inspires. She's the role model of the family, and that, family also inspires the community. So I actually, and this is my first time I'm announcing this. So I recently got featured on one of the magazines here in the US. And this is really, for me, I'm proud of it because it's a recognition of the work that I'm doing in terms of, helping people to be really healthier and be able to prevent a future, health complications, and also support them to have a better quality of life. So in terms of why this talk really matters today is that there is the weight of stress. It can be very silent, but it really impacts our well-being. So based on some of the research I was able to find, it does show that about 70% of African or Caribbean immigrants, and I'm speaking this from the perspective of us who are living in diaspora, but it doesn't mean that, outside, Europe or America, that it's, people are not stressed. We do understand there are high levels of stress, but the stresses can be different. So for us who are in the diaspora, these stresses can come from work or racism. We gotta be honest and paint it as it is, or even cultural adjustment. So many of us do carry stress. It's an invisible weight, and we really suffer in silence. But also we are going to look at how that stress really impacts our sleep, digestion and immunity, among other things. So in terms of stress, so not all stress is bad. There is good stress, when you get excited and you get that really good stress. But what I'm really focusing on is that really the chronic stress or the bad stress that disrupts our well-being. And this can show up as being able, having that negative overwhelm or anxiety. And I did see an advert about talk on mental health. It's great. But also it can, show up as brain fog or anger or sleep issues. But also one of the biggest factors is that chronic inflammation. So what exactly does chronic inflammation means? This is when the body really stays upset for a very long time. it can start really to hurt, the body itself, and also lead to health problems that create that last for a while. And some of those, I think someone is, let me make sure I'm not advancing my slides myself. So what inflammation does, it can show up as cardiovascular diseases when we think of heart disease, stroke, or we can think of bone or musculoskeletal diseases. We can think of neurological disorders, also diabetic complications and disorders from, what we call metabolism. But also it can unfortunately lead to cancer. So stress is not, it's unmeasured. That's another important thing to take away, I think, from this call, is that it's unmeasured. However, it manifests in such a way that sometimes it can be a little bit too late to even convert back the body to where it's supposed to be. But if you're thinking or asking yourself in terms of, so how do we even break that cycle of stress? One way is to incorporate in the holistic wellness. And this is when our panel is going to, we're going to go through some questions. Holistic wellness, we are going to see a tool that really slices out, or it shows the different areas of our lives. And this is when we care for our whole self, not just the work self, if you're talking about work or just the finances, but also the other aspects as well, we'll see. So this also helps the body to really stay in that state of peace, or what we call harmony. But also we get to look at what we call the mind-body integration, and making sure that our emotions are not, they're not off, as for lack of a better term. So in an essence, holistic wellness helps us to really have that harmony, be healthy and at peace. So we do know that everyone wants peace, everyone wants happiness, but sometimes we also look for that in different ways, and those other ways also create the stress, if that makes sense at all. So we do have a little guest. Thank you for joining. So in terms of how we break that cycle, this is the tool I was talking about, the Well of Wellness chart. Some, practitioners call it the cycle of life, but I prefer to call it the Well of Wellness. Reason is that we get to look at those parts, in terms of, if we start at family, going clockwise, family, relationships, social life, joy. I cannot see the rest of the middle. Hold on. Joy, and let me see. My screen is a little bit off.
I see family.
Let me see. Okay, I was able to move it down.
Spirituality.
Right. Then we see the joy
Sleep.
in terms of sleep. We get to see learning or education. Finances is a big one. Home cooking or nutrition. And the reason I add in home cooking here is that sometimes we think of nutrition, but also there are parts into that nutrition. So if someone eats out a lot in restaurants, right, we have to really look at that nutrition. Is that food really nutritious? Are all the ingredients, even the spices that I used to make the food nutritious, are they helping the body to really stay in the harmony and not have so much sodium or so much other chemicals within the spices, right? And then for general health, this is when we talk about the physical or physiological health. So physical activity is also a common one. We'll get to see how that ties into what we call the Well of Wellness. So when we look at these areas, this is when we bring in our panelists, and I will stop sharing. All right, Dr. Kujo and Nana, if you're ready. So we are going to go. I do have some questions for you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
At least I can.
Yeah, and again, thank you again for taking on the challenge to fill out, to really assess where you are, in terms of your areas of life, to understand what you're doing well. So we always want to start from what area of your life is going well, and then look at what are the gaps. Because the gaps, what I've seen with clients, it's those gaps that actually become the stresses. So I would start off with Nana, to get a sense of what your experience was in taking the assignment.
So with the assignment, and I already knew this before
Okay.
I even took I did the little assessment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I would start from my weakest, and then maybe I will kind of go up to what I think my strongest is.
Whatever
So
works for you.
for me, I think my weakest was sleep.
Mm.
Because one, I have 2 kids, and then I'm a working mom and a
Mm-hmm.
wife. I
Mm-hmm.
have a 3-year-old, and then I have a 6-month-old, and then working full time. Very like hardly do I get the sleep that I need. Not because I don't know the importance of it, but I think I put everything else first, and I don't plan my day as I should to fit in enough rest, even if I'm not sleeping, but have enough rest. I think that will be a good part of life. But I think sometimes we don't even realize how much we can plan and fix our day to give us a little time to ourselves, or even think about the importance of having rest and having me time. And I think my strongest was my family and spirituality. Like and that actually boils down to why my sleep is so little and my self-care is so little, because I put that first. My family, my kids, I want to make sure that they have everything they need. I do everything that I'm supposed to do. And then we just started a new church in Dayton, where I live. So I've been doing a lot of the work and organizing things. And so with me doing that, which is not a bad thing, but I think that sometimes we forget to plan our day. We forget to, sometimes it's okay to say no to certain things so you can incorporate sleep and rest into our day.
Awesome. Awesome. So let me ask you, I'm kind of gonna do sort of like a live coaching or mini coaching, I would say. So when you say sleep, how many hours of sleep on average? Let's say in the past 2-3 days, how much time of sleep did you get?
Personally, don't even get 4, to be honest. And also that's because I'm breastfeeding. So everybody's situation might be a lot different than mine, because I'm still breastfeeding and the baby wakes up frequently to feed.
Okay. Interesting. I'm a mom, so I can relate to that. Yeah, so you survive on 4 hours of sleep, as we're
On
talking about,
average, yes.
on average.
Mhm.
How does that make you feel?
I mean, get through my days, but I feel like it affects every part of my life. Sometimes, especially days where I feel like even the 4 hours I didn't get, I catch myself being really short with my family. And I have 4 boys living in my house. I have an 11-year-old, and then I have a 19-year-old. So on days that I feel like I get irritated too quickly because I haven't had enough rest and I'm tired even before my day starts.
Okay. And now you did mention before your day starts. How do you start your day, if you don't mind to share briefly?
So on days that I plan, like the night before, plan my day, I will wake up, do a little devotion, and then I don't pump anymore, so I took that one out. But then I will make sure the baby has food and everything ready before I head out for work, because my husband takes care of the kids when I'm out. So I try to make sure the food and everything he's gonna need is ready. So I wake up, I do a little devotion, run to the bathroom, get ready. Hardly do I even eat breakfast. Make sure the kids' stuff are all set up, and then I'm out. Unless days that I work from home, then I feel like I'm a little relaxed.
Okay.
I can, eat breakfast in between patient visit, or I can even plan my day differently when I'm working from home, because I can set up the baby's food when he's actually awake. But on average, when I have to work outside the home, I'm up and ready to go latest by 9. I have to be out of the house. So when I don't get rest, I rush through my mornings instead of my day not being what I want it to be.
I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, you're right. So the brain is kind of what I call on edge, it doesn't know how to relax, but rather it just has to be in that survival, mode, which I call it survival mode, or what I call, running, or being chased by the bear. That's another also I look at it like you're being chased by the bear. So it's like kind of quick, everything has to be quick at that point. It's exhausting. That's when I mentioned that, even as we talk about inflammation, when the body is being consistently being told, oh, this is happening, and it's nonstop, that's when we move from, the good inflammation, where the body has to say, okay, it's repair time, damage time, take care of it, right? But then it's when there's no really repair, there's no damage, it goes into, okay, it's constantly going. And then what happens then, that constant that constant functioning of the body, it's the one causing the damage. So but really thank you for sharing your story, and I can relate. I know what you shared is actually, for me, something that I've gone through at some point. And this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I didn't want other mothers to go through, navigating stress, being a mother, a wife with other responsibilities, and also working, working out of the home. It's something that I definitely can relate to. Yeah, so is there anything else you wanted to share before I move on to Dr. Kojo?
No, not right now. Thank you.
All right, awesome. All right, Dr. Kojo, let's get to you. What has been your experience with the Wheel of Wellness chart? And if you can share what your strengths areas are, as well as the gaps.
Okay, so my assessment will basically be based on the fact that I recently moved to US here. So it's more of a comparison between life lived in Ghana and 1 year or 1.5 years experience in US. If I look at the 12 items that have been identified for the assessment, I think so far you want me to start with my weakest, right?
Whatever works for you. So some people
Okay.
prefer to start with the strength, others prefer to start with the
Okay. So the weak links will basically be two. I think the first one will be the home environment. In as much as I'm not experiencing doom saw and constant flow of water. In Ghana, I was in my own house. So I have space with my family and everything. But here comes me, I gave and virtually a small place, because I will have to save. The bigger the space, the higher the rent. So I just had to take a sizable place that I can just manage, and rent wouldn't be an issue for me.
Right.
because in as much as I want comfort, I'll still have to manage finances. So if I want to put numbers to it, looking at the points you give us, from the lowest part to the periphery, that will be between 1 to 6. I'll give home environment 3 because of the space and that interaction that I used to have. Sincerely, I'm not getting, so I'll give home environment 3. Then social life. Initially, I even wanted to give myself 1, but let me give 2 for now.
Explain.
Because it's home, go to work, sometimes go to church, and you are bored, so you need to exercise, do some workouts and exercise a little bit. Unlike in Ghana, where you have the brotherhood, boys, Friday after work, you can decide to sit somewhere, or a friend might call you for an event, and you guys will have, especially the weekends, to do 1 or 2 sittings and see what's up. Here, I think life has completely been different. So I'll give the aspect 2. With spirituality, yes, I think because I feel lonely, I'm able to have enough time, read my Bible, do some sort of quality meditation, and I think I'll give like 5.
Okay.
With sleep, I can also give sleep 5, because homework, if I exercise and I get tired, I just come and sleep, basically. So just that the only unfortunate thing is that sometimes, because of thinking, you are, even though you have the time to sleep, you are unable to sleep that much, because in as much as no one is disturbing you, you still have other things, both here and back home. You are trying to find your way around it. So it's like that. Finances, yes. In Ghana, work was good, low pay, big titles. Here, work hasn't really settled that much. But if you take the little you are earning here, if that same amount was to be obtained, instead of using 1 month to raise up that amount, if you don't take care, I would have used a year in making that amount. Though in terms of quantum here, it might not be too substantial, but looking at the project that I have at the back of my mind and what I've been doing, so relatively, I would say financial standing is it's been good for the past 1 year. Yeah, I cook mostly. I hardly buy from outside, so nutrition is also good. Like 5, just that one thing is missing: the wife touch to the food.
Such a good.
So, but I try my possible best. I learned some few things to bring variety, because that's beauty of life. So I try to also do that. Work, because of documentation things and the rest, work and career. Yeah, I'm getting close, but I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah,
As to
so don't
where
share. Let me stop you there, because we are also live on some public channels. So just be mindful of what you share.
Okay. Yeah. So work, yeah, I think I can do more than what I'm doing now, simply because with my background and what I know I can do, and how things are over here, yeah, I think I will have to scale up
Okay.
Yeah, for a time to come. Education, yeah, I will need to polish some few things to get me to where I want to be. So I think for education, I'm not afraid of learning, reading. So I'm okay. I'm okay. If I want to do, or if I want to take up any course, I believe I can easily do it. So
Mm.
that's not a big deal. General health. I think general health I will give six because good health facilities you'll be taken care of even if you don't have, or here they say health
As
is
well.
yeah. So I think with the facilities around and the rest, yeah, I'm very okay with the healthcare I've received so far. Relationship, I'm poor with it. Even in as much as I'm meeting so many people, yeah, you meet, you have your discussion and the rest. At the end of the day, you still go home, um, living your lonely life. So yeah, I meet people, but I'm not so much of a social being. So
Yeah.
we have our discussion, then we leave it there. If we need to call once a time and have our discussion, yeah, fine. But basically, um, it's more of a lonely life. Uh,
Yeah, because I do see that you gave the social life too. So when we connect relationships with social life, and sometimes it's not just with the relationships
yeah,
the people we live with, but also outside of our comfort.
yeah. And I think family, I'm okay in as much as I'm trying to bring them here. They are not here. I try to communicate morning and evening mostly. So they are doing well. Just that I feel I'm supposed to be around because I have boys and girls who are approaching their teens, and as a father, I'm supposed to be around. But it's all
Mm.
good because I took that decision, putting them
Mm.
in perspective that I also want to relocate them to this place. So, yeah, I know I'm not doing so good as at now, but I believe at the end of the day, yeah, thanks. So I'll give myself five for family.
Oh, good. That's
Yeah,
wonderful because we do know, in our culture, those are the roots of who
yeah.
we are, and it's very important. And it's good to
Is
hear that you have.
is there a particular parameter that I did not touch on?
I think you did touch on, but I'm picking up the ones that you felt that you are not doing well in, for instance, the home environment.
Yeah,
Because, yeah, you're not getting the size you used to.
yeah,
But this is the good thing you're doing. You give it a 3, but the good thing you're doing is that you are also considering the finance versus the comfort. And
yeah,
also comfort doesn't have to do with size.
yeah.
So we have to do a mindset shift here. Comfort does not mean size,
Okay.
right? But you're really looking at the finance because you can have, a mansion.
Yeah,
If it's keeping you up at night from the financial aspect, then that's also a stressor in a way.
yeah. It's true. It's true.
So yeah, but I think you're doing well. I will probably, yeah, a 3 is too low from what I'm hearing for that because you're very non-conservative, but you're more, you're doing things in moderation to ensure that you don't really get those holes in your finances to stay up all night.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I did hear about the brotherhood, the events in terms of the social life. It does also sound like it's also your personality that, how you really socialize that's who you are, right? You are not going to always have parties in your
no,
home. You would rather do the spiritual connection, which is very key. And even hearing that it's at a 5, I
yeah,
don't see it as lonely, but also isolation. and we have to differentiate those two. Isolation is when you really want to be centered, and some people take time and they maybe even go on retreats just to isolate because they need to have that deeper connection with God, or some people call it the source or Almighty, just even to connect with who they are internally. But I do still so the lonely part because your family, your wife is not with you, so you're not getting that level of stimulation in terms of in the food and just being around with another human being in the house with you, to add on to that joy and peace. It's okay. Yeah. But I think we need to work on the sleep.
The sleep?
Yes, because I did hear, the thinking takes over. And I'm wondering if you've considered also taking the spirituality aspect and connect that to sleep, perhaps having that bedtime routine so that when you go to sleep, your brain is sort of empty. I call it surrendering. You surrender and just say, okay, this is the moment to just sleep and not think about anything.
Okay.
To have that quality sleep, because we have to look at sleep as not an act of sleeping, but also it's a way to recharge. The body has to really renew and recharge. That's why having quality sleep, even longer hours of sleep, helps with that.
Yeah, it's true. That's
to prevent that chronic inflammation.
That's true.
Awesome. Okay. So is there anything else you wanted to share before I move on?
Maybe as the discussion keep going on, if there's something I need to chip in or I forgot, I think I'll make myself available.
Feel free. Feel free to do that. Actually towards the end, I didn't want to do this to overload the community with too much information, but also there's so much we can share privately beyond the channels. I'm very respectful of that. In terms of, I know one of my teams reminded me the intellectual property aspects as well. So
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
yes. All right. Okay. So I'm going to move on. Let me see if I can get back to sharing. And but that was really beautiful. I don't know if I think I'm going to move on. Then we'll create more time for others to ask questions that they may have, if that's okay.
If I may chip in a little bit.
Yeah, please. Go.
So I think this is a good time for people to start putting their questions, and keep bringing your questions on Facebook, YouTube, and we'll make sure we ask all your questions for you. So again, we are live on HRTV Facebook, Tatap Sengana Facebook, and also live on YouTube, HRTV, as well as Zoom. So please, if you want to talk or ask your questions verbally, just come on Zoom so that we can have that taken care of for you. All right, you can take over.
All right. Give me one. Let me go back to my slides if they can. Yeah, sometimes sharing on Zoom is interesting for me. But I did want to touch on the pillars of wellness. There are actually 4, and let's see if I can get this to share. See if I can do that. I have to put it in presentation mode. I'm watching myself now. But if there are any questions, we can go ahead as I'm sharing. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So we have Empress Daisy. Empress Daisy says this is not healthy. I think Empress Daisy was talking about Amobia's lack of sleep and that she needs to get some sleep. And Nana Benito says, greetings to everyone. Nana Benito, greetings to you all the way from Ghana.
Okay.
I think I can clarify that a little bit. And I've read
Go
that.
ahead.
Go ahead.
If I think sometimes some people mistaken laying in bed for quality of sleep. You can lay in bed for 8 hours and still get like 2 hours of quality of sleep. So it's not about how many hours your eyes are closed or how many hours you lay down. I think it's about how many hours of quality sleep. At least that's what I call it. Quality sleep where I feel like I was sound asleep, that my body was able to rest. Instead, I lay in bed because even when the kids are asleep or awake, I'm still laying down. I still feed. Sometimes I can feed still laying down. But I count my quality of sleep, and so quality of sleep to me, it might not be enough, but it's good to get me through the day. Because sometimes you can lay down, your body rest, but you're not asleep.
And I totally agree with you. What you're describing is what I call the monk lifestyle. Because the monks do not sleep when they're going through certain, phases. They don't sleep that much, but the quality of life really gives them the opportunity to be able to function well, even with less hours of sleep. So definitely thank you for,
All right.
clarifying that.
And Frederick Cusiado and Empress Daisy also say the same thing. That's so bad. You got to rest, And again, you already clarified that, so that's fine. And Amobia comes to say, thank you for your concerns. That's good. The Almighty John Agbe says, how do you draw the line between good stress and bad stress? Because you need little stress to achieve set goals. And
Absolutely.
when you achieve success, you experience the good feel of relief.
Absolutely. Yes, John, there is always that distinction between the good stress and the bad stress. And I think that's why I say I'm talking about the bad
you talk about the eustress and the de-stress.
Yes. Yeah. So because some of it you need to, pump you up. But at the same time, if it goes to that level when you're feeling chest all the time, that's when your body will let you know that, nah, this is not the kind of stress your body, should be exposed to for a long time.
Okay. Bright says, I love both assertions, especially Doc's view on the social life and home environment. I can relate to it. People are really resonating to what Doc is saying.
Yes.
iPhone says, the missing brotherhood is the thing, bro. And honestly, that is one of the things that anytime I go to Ghana, I do not take for granted. Just meeting up with the boys. My favorite spot is ANC Mall, Honeysuckle, and just hanging out with the boys. So I think most people do actually take a lot of relief and distress out of that. Empress Daisy says very true. And Empress Daisy comes back to say, so I think he had big expectations, and that is why he's not getting enough sleep. Is that a culture shock or it was high expectations? It could be both.
I think it is. And I think the research shows that cultural shock, the adjustment it really knocks us out.
But the thing is, Doc can still get a boys thing though, especially if you live in New York, if you live in Chicago, Jersey. Those three states are known for still hanging out even after work. Even in Jersey, right? There's a spot in Jersey called 555 Ghana Way, and these guys always hang out over there every single night. They hang out over there till like 11, 12 a.m., 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. So, and still Sundays, we get together, play some soccer and stuff like this. When I used to be in Jersey, guys used to hang out all the time. So you can still create that. You can even have boys come around, or you can even go around homes, have some little barbecue just within the circle, just to boost yourself up. All right, over to you, Damalie.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I did even have a question because one of the things that we did not hear about was physical activity. And, Dr. Kojo did not touch on that. And then well did not touch on physical activity.
Can I chip in something?
Yes, please do.
I for physical activity, I think I'm doing much better because where I stay, I'm close to the Bronx River, so I have access. Days that I feel okay, I need to take a walk. I think that Bronx River, that park with a long distance stretch around the and aside the walk, I also able to end up with where we have the open space which can be used for exercise with those, yeah. Just that I'm a volleyball and few times football because of age. I try to minimize the football. I once a while get to the volleyball courts to do a bit of volleyball, but usually after work maybe you are tired, so you can't always be doing consistently like you used to do. But physical exercise, yeah, I think I'm not doing badly. I make conscious efforts to engage, especially when I think that I'm stressed. Either I take a walk, then end up do some exercise there, then come back, take my shower and sleep.
Okay.
So I think that's, and the boys thing, yeah, I think I've spotted some few places. Just that for a reason I've decided to lie low a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. I think I have, and I have some few guys that they
No,
also.
akohwe the upper cause of Bokoshi Abinya Koshiabo.
Oh,
Why they know what Jim?
oh, sir. And I have some few guys around that for a reason maybe our path cross, and we have wonderful and beautiful discussions when we are less busy. So yeah, there are just that as I said earlier on, I'm just trying to concentrate and lie low on some aspect of my life till I achieve what I want to achieve. Yeah.
Well, producer want me to tell you that if you want to play a lot of volleyball or soccer, just come to Ohio, and
Come on.
oh, yes, yes,
From
yes.
bronze, from
Oh yes, I mean, of course. I mean, would you rather prefer Nima or East Legon? I'm just giving a good option. So, Doc, you know better
Move your
now.
bags. Move to Ohio.
I have these two questions over here on Facebook. So
Sure.
Emmanuel Anobi Mensa says, "Can't hear you, please." Now this is funny. The second part of the question is from Samuel Okwe Norte says, "Please, oh, Emmanuel can't hear." Now the question is, if someone can hear and Emmanuel can hear, how are we gonna allow Emmanuel? How are we gonna make Emmanuel hear what is going on? So, someone either you help us to help Emmanuel to hear, or Emmanuel, please turn your volume up, or just refresh your Facebook page. This is from HITV Facebook page. That was a very funny interaction going on over there. So please, someone is asking for Emmanuel to hear, but I'm pretty sure everybody else can hear us by now. You can take over, Mrs. Akuamoah.
Okay.
And I can pitch in with the workout, like physical activity. I do walks with my family, which it's abundant time for us. The kids love it, especially my 3-year-old. So we do that, and then I have an app that I do like 10 minutes workout in the morning, 80% of the time, and then in the evening before I go to bed. And my 3-year-old always wants to work out too. So that is a family bonding time for us. So that particular part, I put it under family time as well.
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's lovely. Actually, I do that with my kids too. So they do love to.
Yes.
I have to put them in because or else they'll be stuck on those gadgets, which I do not like. But yeah, that's great to hear. Definitely, not even the technology, taking advantage of the technology, because we do have, those monitors in our phones that you can tell you how many steps you've taken, how many calories you've burned, and for how long you've been doing it. So I really encourage people to stay, seated and just be in one place, but rather to you use the God-given legs, just to move around and be able to excite your body in that manner. So what I wanted to touch on here is also the essential pillars of wellness. And I think that's why I asked about the physical activity, really nutrition. And so the nutrition, it's two parts, right? There's the physical food actually, which is more like for the holistic wellness practicing, it's actually secondary. The first nutrition is the one that's invisible, what you're feeding your mind with. How much of those news you're watching, how much of those shows that might not be I'm not going to actually categorize them, but really what you're feeding your mind is very important in terms of nutrition. But also the secondary piece, which is the food. Belief. For me, what I've seen, I love my Ghana people. I love the Ghana food. But one of the things that I've actually tried, I know my in-laws really encouraged me to eat it. It's the banku, but I've put requirements around the banku. For me to eat the banku, it cannot be in any plastic or wrapped in plastic because of, I don't see that as healthy. I'm also thinking of the little nano plastic particles that end up in food when we just keep putting food in, things that are kind of that remove the nutrients in a way. We've touched upon sleep, but also the physical activity. And also the most important one is also the mind, body, and spirit integration. Believe this also falls into the spirituality area. And then I shared on that in terms of being able to do devotion. And Dr. Kojo also touched on that, how, he does that to, when he isolates himself, he can just be able to do his meditation. That's also a big aspect in terms of the essential pillars of wellness. And I think this is sort of my slide. I'm just going to go into in terms of the services we provide. Again, these are grounded on our essential pillars of wellness. We do provide one-on-one coaching, really tailored to help individuals release stress and prevent future health complications and improve their quality of life. I do have a bunch of examples on that in terms of how clients were really highly stressed, but their doctors kept asking them to make lifestyle changes. And it took them forever to really take action, to understand that, look, if your physician is telling you that your high blood pressure is off the hook, then you need to consider looking at the sodium in your food or doing the physical activity and, doing other things, even getting that quality sleep. That's been what I've seen some clients go from that point of not knowing what to do and being able to incorporate in those practices that are relevant to their lifestyle. Because what we also recognize that each individual or family has their own lifestyle. So what works for Peter might not work for Jen. What works for Jen might not work for Peter. I hope there's no Jen or Peter on the call, but just as an example. So we take that into consideration. But we also have a group wellness workshops. This is for people who prefer to have a communal support and being inspired by others. And with that, we provide the tools as well as we get to meet at least once a month to foster those relationships and be able to ensure that the transformation is not just for one individual, but also for the whole group. For those who may be business owners or corporations, we do support teams as well, because we've also seen that it's very important for the teams that are made of individuals to prioritize their wellness and prevent burnout so that they can improve their well-being and productivity, which is good for business.
All right. Well, go ahead.
So this is kind of my last slide. So what I do have here, actually, we do have what's called a comprehensive stress insight analysis. This is, again, it provides that comprehensive understanding of what those stresses are. It can be different for each individual, but it provides that foundation for taking actionable steps. It provides a scale. So for instance, I have a client who, because this is actually new, but I have a client who took it and her scale was, more than 20. And I just had to call and say, hey, we need to talk, because when it's too high, it just means that it requires immediate action in terms of, being able to move from being stressed to being able to have a better life and prevent those future health complications. So
Okay.
I do have a QR code here. If you're interested, you can, scan it and check it out.
Well, I'll say put your number also in the chat so that people can actually, contact you as well, because not too many people are conversant with the QR codes and the technologies associated with brand. So just put a number in there so that people can have that human touch communication with you as well, and it goes
Yes,
a long way.
I'm going to do that. Thank you.
No problem, no problem.
All
So
right. And I'm on WhatsApp, so definitely that's a go-to for me.
beautiful. We still have about 23 minutes to the end of the program. We will open up the floor for questions. You can ask questions to the panelists or the guest herself. So please, at this point, producer is gonna unmute everyone so that we can ask our questions. And so raise your hand, put a reaction emoji up. And all you have to do, just go on the bottom icons. You're gonna see after the chat, you're gonna see reactions. Click on the reaction, and once you click on it, you're gonna see the hands raise hand. Click on raise hand. As soon as you click on raise hand, it's gonna raise your hand up. Then we will call you and just unmute you so that you can go ahead and ask your questions. Beautiful questions by everyone, and also beautiful contributions. We still have a question from Rex. Rex says we all need to move to New Jersey. Oh wow.
Oh,
Because I said 555 Ghana way. Everyone in Jersey knows about 555 Ghana way. But I heard that Bronx is also, 167 is popping. They have some nice joints and places over there, and it's like it doesn't get old. So many things to do over there. Then Samuel Okwe Norte says, I read on the platform, just wanted you to include him. It is not a question, please. I'm in the UK and I'm joining the conversation. Yes. Samuel, I was just enjoying the fun part of it, because if you can hear, then he should be able to hear. So it's something that has to do with him. But thanks for letting us know. Fatih Bamba says, hello, madam. Would you advise for a periodic spa treatment or not? If yes, how often can one do that? Nice.
oh. Yes, spa treatments are part of your self-care, and as ladies, definitely we need to self-care so that we can feel ourselves and to support, do our responsibilities. In terms of how often, it depends on what your stress level can be, but also we have to realize that that's a temporary support, but it's very important to understand what's even causing the stress for you to have more than enough spa treatments. I hope
I thought it has to do with your pocket. Also.
I beg your pardon?
I thought it has to do with your pocket also.
Yeah, it has to do with your pocket, but also let me be mindful.
Like, for instance, producer, right? My producer never gets spa done over here in America, but whenever he's in Ghana, every day is a spa treatment because it's cheaper in Ghana.
It's cheaper in Ghana. Definitely it's cheaper in Ghana.
And you get more service. Like, you can get like a whole body massage for, let's say 400, right? 400, 500. 400 or 500 cities. But over here, just to get not even deep tissue is a whole lot of money right there. I mean, some of us might have to take the one in Ghana.
No, you don't have to wait for the one in Ghana. That's what it's called. You have to look in your finances and start budgeting for that.
All right, Fatih, thanks for the question. Empress Daisy says, living abroad doesn't limit you from doing the best for yourself. I believe in self-love, TLC, tender love and care. Take some me time to clear your mind from certain things. It is very necessary and important. You can't kill yourself for everyone. True, because the pressure gets a little heavy and everyone keep calling. I used to have that problem when people ask me for something and I cannot help. I can't go to sleep without thinking about it. Then I get to a certain point, it's like sometimes it's like, you know what? It is what it is. I just can't do anything about it. They will survive. Life will go on. And because whilst you're helping others, you have you also thought about how you're gonna get survival mode, or how you're gonna get into that, activate that survival mode for yourself too, because that can become a bit much, stressful for you, because now you're always working for people instead of working for yourself. So I like that me time in there. Everyone needs that tender love and care. Take care of yourself and make sure that you can be healthy enough to help those that really need it. And the number to our sister, Mrs. Akuamoah, is two. Okay, so since she's in America, you can use +1 +1 212 203 1482, and that is only on WhatsApp. Please contact her via WhatsApp. WhatsApp is very safe and secure. I like talking to WhatsApp more than even anything. Not for any reason, but I just love WhatsApp. WhatsApp is better. It's easier. So any more questions? If you have any more questions from Zoom, please let us know so that you can ask. We still have about 18 minutes to draw the curtains to the show. If not, we can call it an early day. So please let us know. If there's any more questions, we are willing to take those questions as well. Now, whilst we're waiting for the questions, right? With the spa thing, I heard that if you never ever had spa treatment, it's not as difficult like having it one time. Once you have it one time, your body always wants it. It's like your body always get back into that mood. It's like, oh, my back is too tight. Let me go and get some spa treatment. Is that true, or is it just all up in the mind?
Because even people who get acupuncture, because you're now sort of giving that a different sort of communication to your body with your neurons, and they start shooting differently. But I also say for couples, you can always do a spa from home.
Yeah.
And the home retreat.
I think it's a mind thing too, because I used to get it like once a month, and I thought I needed it. Like I had to have it until COVID hit. And then I was like, no, I don't want to get COVID. So I didn't go for like over a year. And I was perfectly fine. So I think it's preference. You enjoy it, so you want more of it. And that is the thing with self-care. Once you start doing it, you realize it makes you feel good. It makes you feel better. So you want more of it. So I personally think it's a mind thing, because after COVID, I realized I don't have to have it.
So
but
you were
it's a
getting it
need
once
that
a month?
I was getting faithfully once a month.
The rich people are talking.
Wow. Okay.
No, that's what I'm saying. I felt like I needed it. And so it was a mind thing. But then when I wasn't getting it, now it's like when I feel like it, or when I have time, or I want to spend the money, I will. And it's because I enjoy it. But now I know it's not something that I have to have it like every month. So because it costs a lot too. So like he said earlier, your pocket counts too.
Yeah, and I think that's why I was trying to reference that. Why do you need it that often? Because when so you know what, this is my treat. I'm giving myself a treat, maybe once a quarter versus once a month. And if I'm doing it once a month, then I have to first understand why am I doing it, once a month. If you're not in Ghana.
Well, I hope Lord start getting it once, at least every 3 months.
Or even once a lifetime. We would take that once a lifetime.
I don't think Lord has even had one ever in his life.
No, that I can say no.
He's probably used to step on my back. Please step on my back.
So there is another perspective I want to share on that, because also there are some people who do not believe in that energetic transfer of other people touching them. So they're very kind of guarded on who really,
So hold on. You think people can transfer energy by massage?
No. There are some people who believe in that. So
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. Who say, okay, if you recommend a spa, it's okay, maybe you could consider a spa. They'll say, oh no, outside my house, I don't get people to give me massages in that manner. So
Because they transfer energy.
they just feel like, unless they really know, they trust the person, like how they've been centered, because they don't want people being so stressed, and then they come and say, now they're going to give you a massage.
You know what? I think Lord falls in that category. Lord falls in that category. That's why he never goes. He just said it right now.
Oh, yeah?
'Cause he believes in those things of transfer energy. But you play soccer and touch people's body. Okay, I get it. All right. Any more question? I think we have two more questions that came up. Mrs. Cecilia Amankwanti Cecilia says, I don't mind on my birthday every year for deep tissue massage. Okay. That's once a year. That's once a year.
We can move it to twice a year.
Yeah. Yeah. But see, when you think about the bag of cement.
Depending on when your birthday happens.
All right. It looks like this is where we're gonna draw the meeting to, and we want to say thank you so much for coming. Can you give us your final words? You want to start off by your panelists by giving us the final words? Well, I don't like using the word final words because they're still gonna live here and live. But can you give us your last, submission on this particular topic? So we're gonna start off with our Mobile ladies first, and then after that, Doc, you're gonna give us your last submission on this topic or just a summary of it. Then Mrs. Akuamoah will just wrap it up for us. Amobia, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but I didn't hear the question.
Oh, just give us your last summary or submission on the topic. We wrap it up.
Okay. Right. Got you. I think personally, I would say, I'm in healthcare too. So I think we need to make time for self-care. Family is good, spiritual life is good, but we need to make sure that we're taking care of us to be able to take care of others. And sometimes taking care of us or taking care of you doesn't mean you have to have the whole day to yourself or even longer hours to yourself. Even an hour, you can relax, reflect, think about what changes you can make to make your life better and take little steps, make little changes here and there. Lifestyle modification, those baby steps goes a long way. But sometimes we feel like, oh, I don't have time. I will wait till like I have 10 hours or 2 hours or 5 hours, but you can benefit from 15 minutes every day instead of 5 hours in just once a while. So I think that's the final thing that I would say.
Thank you very much for coming on. Amobia, God bless you, and let this not be your first and last, but rather your first and multiple to come. Thank you. We know you're busy, so we'll let you go on that note. But you can still hang around and just listen to what's going on. Adjoa says, I take advantage of the massage chairs and hydro massages at the gym every day or two. Maybe I will get a deep tissue massage once a year. Adjoa, I agree with you. Since you already got some light massages going on, that is awesome. So at this point, we're gonna call upon Doc. Dr. Kojo Frimpong, can you please give us your summary? As we wrap it up.
The little I also add to it is there's a saying that health is wealth.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have any health issue, you will think that you have a lot of problems. But as soon as you start getting health issues or other problems that you were thinking about, you realize that they are inconsequential.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm trying to say is, let's take very good care of ourselves, because the chicken that lays the golden egg, you don't throw it away, because if you don't take care of yourself, all the projects, all the plans, that you have, if you lose your health, there's no way you can achieve those, and there's no way the suffering that you put yourself into, you will be able to. So let us eat well and exercise as much as we can, and that will help us live a better life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kojo, Gabriel Kojo from Paul. You just nailed it right there. Very, very crucial points to actually ascertain. Thank you. Thank you for coming on the show, and let this not be the last. And finally, we're gonna send it over to Mrs. Akuamoah to take us home. Then after that, Tatopsen will sign you guys out.
All right. Thank you for this opportunity to be able to convene with the community and really be able to share this important matter. I would say, I think, Timmy, to echo what Dr. Kojo said, health is wealth. If you worked in a nursing home or worked in healthcare, you can picture what that means. And with that, I would say, start by taking that stress assessment, because there are different stresses that are affecting our well-being, and we might not be, aware of them. So really taking that test to understand comprehensively what those unique stresses are is really a good first step. And it also helps you to think of what you can do in order to prevent, yourself from getting into the worst condition. So we want to be healthy, not just for ourselves, but also for our families, as well as for the next generation. So I leave you with this question: how healthy are you so that you get to see your great grandkids?
That is a good segue into Empress Daisy's statement. Over to you, Joe Latte. Doctor has said it all. Thank you. And also, Mrs. Akuamoah has said it all. And she left a rhetorical question for you and I. How healthy are you to see your great grandkids? I want to say big thanks to family nurse practitioner Nana Mobia and also Dr. Gabriel Kojo Frimpong, as well as Mrs. Damalie Akuamoah. You guys have been nothing but awesome, and I hope this is not the last to come back on the show. At this point, I'm going to turn over to Director Daniel to sign you guys out before we move to the second segment of Time with Tatopsen. Director Daniel. Director. Well, if Director Daniel is not available, Uncle Jimmy, can you please help sign them out? And right after that, Uncle Jimmy is gonna take over into the Q&A session for Tatopsen. Yes, Uncle Jimmy.
Yeah, I'll say on behalf of Top team, we say big thank you to our guest tonight for such a wonderful presentation. We really appreciate that, and we expect you to come back again. Thank you, and God bless you all.
All right. Thank you guys very much. And again, her number has been posted in the Zoom chat. Please make sure you're taking a call and book a section for your wellness. Her number again is 212-203-1428. And again, my name is Ofori-Asenso. I'm your host for tonight. And with my producers, Nana Lord and Nana Kwesi Wydot, as well as A-Class and Director Danny for helping bring this show to you. See you again next week, same time, 6 p.m. on Monday. Time with Tatopsen. Have a good night. And this is where we sign out on Facebook and YouTube. But the Zoom still